Drive outside, wake up with Rich, and win the day. Don't spend your morning playing catch up. WRVA and the city's alive. 7 a.m. It's go time, Richmond.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. 7:04 here on Richmond's Morning News. My name is Rich Herrera. Appreciate you spending time with us as you get ready to go. I know you had the long 4th of July weekend, and then maybe you took the Monday off. Now, we got to get back to it. I know the kids are home asleep, and you're like, oh, they get the summer off. I know. Come on. Let me get you to work on time. And remember, if you don't start your day with us, then you're just behind. You're going to play catch-up the rest of the day. Start your mornings with Richmond's Morning News or play catch-up all day. All right, let's talk about what's going on around the world and here in Richmond, Virginia. Just real quick, we'll tell you that the president has now arrived in Turkey ahead of the NATO summit, just getting ready to get off the brand new Air Force One. So he's touched ground there. They're going to have a lot of talk in NATO this week about selling some arms to Turkey. Donald Trump is going to have some very poignant conversation with the NATO allies that would not let the U.S. use their air bases in the fighting with Iran. And, of course, they're going to talk about budgets and how much Europeans are committing towards NATO. So all of that should be a very interesting NATO summit, as there is some strain between several of the members and the United States. We'll keep an eye on that for you. But right now, I do want to turn my attention coming back to things here locally in Central Virginia. We'll go to Henrico next. So Henrico Police have announced that they're going to take a different approach after the 4th of July festivities that were cut short because of teens taking over, fighting, and all the mischief that went on at the Henrico 4th of July celebration. So according to Henrico Police Department, they put out a video talking about what they're going to do now. In response, and this is from the RTD, in response to incidents is in Henrico's Juneteenth event, Henrico Police Chief Eric English and Director of Recreation and Parks, John Zanino, released a video statement in late June, which Zanino said there had been an increase in unattended youth and teens at our events. They said parents should accompany and supervise children at county-sponsored events. And that's where I want to go with this. So, according to the police chief, we will not tolerate behaviors such as drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, fighting, vandalism, reckless driving, or trashing the facilities. These are some of the actions that are taking place, and those individuals committing these offenses and behaviors will be held accountable, he said in the video. The police message on Monday aimed to address both recent incidents and inform the community that future events may have different security policies implemented to ensure the safety of everyone at these events. End quote. Okay, can we actually have a real honest discussion? If you're under 18, you're a minor, you are a child. If you're acting like a person that is vandalizing, fighting, drinking, smoking, reckless driving, trashing the facility, those are not quote unquote children, those are teenagers. And that's where we get caught between a rock and a hard place. You see all of these stories of these teen takeovers. We had one in Henrico. We had one in Short Pump Mall where wilding was going on and the teen takeover. And you saw in Raleigh, 10,000 kids showed up for a teen takeover. And that's what they call it because it seems so innocuous. Oh, a teen takeover. They're going out and just hanging out as teenagers. No, they're going out to cause mayhem and anarchy and to not pay attention to any of the laws. And here's why I think we're seeing this. And I'll throw this open to you as well. I'll get your feedback on this. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. What have we seen in recent years? Well, we've seen an increase in this type of behavior. Just kids running wild. You see it at the Navy Yard in D.C. You saw it here in Henrico, at the mall, at Short Pump Mall. You've seen street takeovers and slideshows where people will do donuts. And again, I keep reminding everybody, all these stupid ideas start in California and make their way out here to Virginia. That's why I always say, don't CA my VA. But these awful ideas started out in California, and they're making their way out here to Virginia, where these teen takeovers are starting to get more and more, where we can't even have a 4th of July celebration with fireworks because kids are showing up causing mayhem. And that's really what it is. They are causing mayhem. These are not innocent children. These are not, two kids getting into a fight. This is mayhem that puts everybody in danger because you don't know what's going on. You tell me, does drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, fighting vandalism, reckless driving, or trashing facilities seem like simple kids' pranks, or does it seem like something else? So why are we at this place? I'll give you a big reason why. And I think this is the residual of what we got from defund the police. What are the police? The police are the thin blue line that enforce our laws and society's code of conduct. The police are there to keep the peace, to stop the mayhem, to stop any of the fighting, the nonsense. They're certainly there to stop drinking booze in public underage, smoking marijuana, fighting vandalism, reckless driving, or trashing the facilities. But what have we done in Henrico, in Richmond, in a lot of our communities? We had the big defund the police. We had the big pushback against police. We have had such a pushback in law and order. Well, what do you think is going to happen when there is no law and order? What do you think is going to happen when we tell kids, hey, listen, you know what? The police are bad. They're awful people. We want to get rid of. Let's reimagine police. Well, if you want to reimagine police, which is the big catchphrase from the left, what does that mean? That means you want to get rid of the police. You just don't have the guts to say it. Let's get rid of the police. Let's abolish jails. Let's get rid of prison sentences. Let's have restorative justice, meaning nobody will be held accountable for anything they do. So what eventually you think is going to happen when you keep saying defund the police, defund the police, defund the police, and talk about how bad they are? Well, you delegitimize them, and when you delegitimize them, you delegitimize laws and public safety. When you take away public safety, what do you think happens? Kids drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, fighting vandalism, reckless driving, and trashing facilities. Teen takeovers. What do you think if you don't have the police there and you've neutered the police and you've told them, you know what, you don't need to pay attention to them because, maybe we want to reimagine them. Maybe we want to defund the police. Maybe we want to delegitimize the police. And that's exactly what the defund the police movement was, is to delegitimize the police. But when you delegitimize the police, then you delegitimize law and order. And if I delegitimize law and order, what do you think is going to happen in your community? 4th of July celebrations being cut short because kids are showing up with no consequences, with no respect for the law, no respect for anybody else, and they're going to do whatever they want, and anarchy happens. It's not by accident. It's not by accident in any stretch of the imagination. And all these people like, what's going on? I can't believe this stuff is going on. I can't believe we had to stop our 4th of July celebration in Henrico because these kids showed up and they were causing trouble. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you delegitimize the police and you de-emphasize law and order and you tell kids, you don't have to pay attention to these? These guys aren't legit. Do you think that law and order just happens because everybody's going to stand there and obey the laws like you and me? No. Anarchy survives when there are no legitimate police or institutions or anything else. And what I've done is I've just taken the police and I've told them they're completely marginalized. And then people are shocked. I can't believe this is going on. This is directly a response to delegitimizing law and order. And then you're shocked when all of a sudden mayhem occurs because there's a vacuum there and it's going to be filled with somebody. So when you delegitimize the police, you say to everybody, law and order doesn't matter. Well, what do you think is going to happen in that space that was taken up by law and order? You take that away, something's going to fill that space, and we see what's filling it. Mayhem like this that causes you to lose the 4th of July celebration on our nation's 250th birthday because there's kids out there that don't worry about the police because you told them the police don't matter. And if the police don't matter, the laws don't matter. And then you act shocked. You act shocked when all of a sudden You see rowdy kids getting rowdier, and you see rowdy kids causing mayhem, and you see fights break out, and you've got to protect your family, and you go, what happened? I'll tell you this, rewind the clock. The second you said the police don't matter, that means the laws they enforce don't matter. That means I could do whatever I want because, well, you just told me those people are wrong and we need to defund them or reimagine them. Please, if you agree, I'd love to hear from you. Disagree, tell me why I'm wrong. 833-804-1140. 833-804-1140. I saw that story. I'm like, it's exactly what's going on. You look at how law and order is under attack, how the police are under attack. Heck, you look at how we treat ICE. ICE are badge-wearing law enforcement officers that all we do is vilify them. I've talked to police officers that have told me, since you've seen people delegitimizing ICE, that means they delegitimize the badge. And I've seen local police officers tell me that when they pull people over, they get lippy and they get more aggressive and they get less respectful. Why? What do you see on TV? What do you hear from people when you try to tell everybody these ICE officers and their badges are absolutely they're horrible Nazis, they're stormtroopers, they're just doing this or they're breaking the law? Well, then once you see that for one group wearing a badge, don't all the badges get soiled and tainted? And you wonder why we have things that happen like we do, where we had to cut short the 4th of July celebration. It all comes back around. 833-804-1140 on the James River Air text line. Coming up, Team USA lost. I enjoyed the World Cup. I'll continue watching it, but I still don't understand soccer. We'll do that next here on News Radio WRVA. Let me remind everybody, A+ Roofing. All right, if you've got a roof and it needs to be replaced,